Hey guys, Christy Shelton from foreverandafter.com, and today is Frugal Friday. This is episode 4 in what's going to be a lifetime series. So every Friday you can check in and catch some tips on how to save money, how to bargain shop, how to earn some extra money outside of getting another part-time job. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about credit card debt. So a little backstory. About 3 or 4 years ago, my husband had returned home from deployment, and we had saved up all of his deployment money to buy a house. We bought our house, we moved in, and probably 3 or 4 months later, he got laid off from work. And he ended up being out of work for probably 6 to 8 months, went back to work at another job, was there for about 4 months, and then got laid off again. So in the span of about 2 years, he was laid off almost a year. I make decent money at my job, but it definitely wasn't enough to sustain our style of living, and we ended up putting some money on credit cards. And we also didn't make very good decisions at that point in time with money, so we got into some credit card debt that was kind of over our head. One thing that your credit card companies don't want you to know is that you actually have bargaining power with them. So I'm sure you've seen the post advertising for like debt relief agencies or credit relief agencies, and they promise you that if you pay them a fee, they're going to help you negotiate different terms for the repayment of your debt. And while sometimes that works, you pay them a pretty hefty fee, and there's no guarantee that your credit card companies will actually work with them. But you actually have power as a consumer to contact your credit card companies directly and ask them to either, maybe it's negotiate a payoff to where you only pay a portion of it. Sometimes doing that does affect your credit, but sometimes you can negotiate with them to lower your interest rate. So I am a huge fan of playing the credit card system. We play what we call credit card roulette. So we have multiple credit cards. We're not using any of our credit cards right now, and we are paying off our debt. But you can play the credit card companies against each other. So if I call, say, Discover Card, and I ask them to lower my interest rate, and they tell me no, I can tell them, hey, Citibank offered me a balance transfer with no fee at 6%. Can you match that? And if they tell me no, then I just transfer the balance to the other card. And this is a good idea for you to do if the interest rate that you're paying after your initial offer, like the 0% or the 1%, whatever they're offering, is going to end up being lower than the interest rate that you're paying on the card that it's currently on, or if the interest rate's going to end up being the same, and you either don't pay a fee to transfer it, or the amount you'll save in interest over however long the balance transfer is good for. Like the ones that they're sending out right now are like summer of 2018. So if you do a balance transfer now, you get like 12 months of 0 interest or 1% interest, whatever it might be. So you kind of have to check the facts of everything. But what we do is we have like our debt split up among different credit cards, and when one of them, I usually target the one with the highest interest rate for either a transfer or a consolidation. And when I get a balance transfer offer, I compare it to what the interest rate is that I'm paying on my current card, and I'll call the current card company and I'll let them know, like, hey, I have this balance transfer offer from this other bank. This is what they're offering me. Can you match this, or can you at least come close to this? And if they tell me no, then I just transfer my balance to the other card. And usually we end up with, right now we have, I think, 5 card accounts that are carrying balances. And I usually can keep 1 or 2 of them on 0% interest. And then I pay towards the cards that we're being charged interest for. So the 0% interest can help you to lower the amount that you're paying on your cards, but it's also helpful to be able to put more money to the cards that you're actually being charged interest on. And you can kind of go back and forth with your credit card companies. They don't want anybody to know that you have this bargaining power because they want to charge you the most interest that they can possibly charge you. But if you're a customer in good standing with them and you've been making your payments on time, they're going to be more willing to work with you and say, okay, yeah, we can lower your interest rate a couple percent or something like that. Even just 1 or 2%, if you have a large balance on your credit card, can make a huge difference in your total amount of payoff, especially if you're struggling to make your minimum payments. Anything helps in that situation. So don't be afraid to call your credit card companies and let them know, like, hey, I can get a better deal somewhere else. If you can't help me out, I'm willing to go to this other bank who is willing to help me. And a lot of times it gets them moving because they don't want to lose the business of getting any interest from you. They'd rather get a little bit less than not get anything at all. So I hope that this helps you maybe consolidate your debt or save some money on your interest rate with your credit cards, and have a great weekend.